Alright, hey, what's up? I want to talk about pride. Having pride and, how important it is, how too much of it may be bad and too less of it is bad. To me, I think it's important to keep your pride balanced, and I think just about everyone should have pride. As for how, at the age, I might be a good believer that at any age you should have pride. Even if you're a little kid, I think a little kid should have pride too. Um, Sometimes the way I am is if you have no pride, it's not worth living because I don't think you have a life at all. And if you have a lot of it, it's not worth living because it's like no one can help you when you have too much pride. You can't let down and give anyone a chance or anything like that. You're too self-bound, and you might as well stay to yourself. It's as if you only care for yourself too. So, anyways, I know that there's some people without pride out there, and whenever the time I probably gained a little bit of pride was probably when I was 12. I remember I used to get abused a lot by my mom, and at one point I finally at 12 I was still she was still trying to give me whoopings and everything like that, using belts and all that, even at age 12. Finally at that age though, I had it mostly was influenced by when I was talking to a friend about it, a situation and all that, and dealing with her, and he finally said, you gotta stand up to her, man. And it was one of my really good friends at the time, really, really closest friend, and he was about the same age as me. His mom didn't, fuck with him like that, didn't abuse him at all, so he was able to have a bit of leadership in his own home, which to me was good. Unless it's bad leadership, then it would be a bad thing, but it all depends on what kind of motives you have in life. But I think it's always good to have leadership at the very least. Sometimes with no pride, you don't really have that type of leadership, at least not in your own space, even in your own home. If there's a person that's really taking more control than they deserve over you, or more control than they ever should, then it's as if you kind of can't have any type of personality, at least around them, only in your head. And it's not good when their personality and the leadership is only trapped in your mind. I feel like it should come out. It should be exposed. People should see it. They should see the real you. But you can't be yourself if you have no pride at all. Because not having pride is literally pretending to be someone who is weak. And then that becomes you. You become a weak-minded person. So that was basically how I was. When I was younger, I was 12. Before I was 12, I was just really weak-minded. Getting abused by my mom heavily and all that, it just made me weaker. And, being forced to just be obedient in a very weak manner and not being able to have any sort of strength in me whatsoever just made me a much worse person, and I was more stressful that way. More stressful, and I just began to hate my mom, at times. So the relationship between me and her would never be good because I could never truly be myself around her, and I had to always have fear, and it sucks to have that. Nowadays when I think back at it, it's not like I could have helped it, but I almost feel ashamed that I would have fear of this woman who was extremely evil to me at that time. Because nowadays I would never have a fear like that, of course. But I was young, and even at a young age, being a male, I was still weak, physically, still not, tough. And at the time my mom was in the military, and her being a younger black woman, she was pretty strong. Being at her fully adult stage, she was a strong woman. So me being a little kid, it just being a male is not enough. So finally, I reached age 12 and I fight back, and it resulted, Before I fought back, though, I was told, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was for something I did. Maybe it was for grades, or maybe I masturbated or something. And for whatever reason, my punishment was to go to the back room and be in my underwear so I can get a whooping. And at that time, I refused. And then that's when we broke out into a huge fight, physical fight. So she tried to choke me a bit, and then at that point, I guess I tried to get low, and it was just more of a stand-up wrestling match, really. Pretty tough battle for me at age 12. Of course, you know, nowadays I'm a really strong individual at an older age here, you know. And after time has passed, not only my mom just being weak as a female because she's a female or whatever, you know, but she's gotten even weaker because, you know, the aging process and whatnot. So it's not like anything compared to now. So, but you know, back when I was a little kid, I'm a little shocked to know that yeah, it was tough for me to fight my own mom. I literally tried my hardest too, but maybe I was nervous, maybe I was scared. That could have been the case. I think that held me back a bit. So anyway, yeah, and that was like the first fight. Yeah, our first fight that we got into. My mom has fought in both my brother and sister. You know, that's how much abuse that was laid out on us. You know, and these are physical fights, not just like yelling. So it's just ridiculous. But anyway, you know, this results in all of us raising our pride and not wanting to be punished anymore. So that's when it results to a fight. I guess my mom doesn't like it, you know, when we gain our pride, and then that's when fighting comes in. So anyways, that's when I finally had kind of gained a bit of strength there, and I think I needed it. I mean, if I didn't have that, I'd be controlled by her, and I'd be like a 12-year-old going on 13, you know, still getting whoopings by my mom, and it's just pathetic, you know, with belts and whatnot. It's just so ridiculous, so retarded. So anyway, yeah, you know, at that point, it was a little bit, the downsides about it was that I kind of had it up too high a bit sometimes. You know, I would talk back to my mom at that time finally, because I had finally gotten confident, you know, like, yeah, now I don't have to be bullied anymore by this bitch. And, you know, sometimes I had a reason to, because, you know, she was seriously a demon to us, you know, a devil to us when we were younger. But, so it was, you could understand that I never respected her. I never followed her orders, you know, rules, whatever. So whenever arguments came out, I spoke back, and it just felt good. I overdid it a little many times, but it always felt good. Couldn't help it. I mean, I had no fucking pride when I was young, so now when I'm older, I overdo it when I finally gain the experience of pride. So instead of being used to having it and being careful with it all these years and balancing it, you know, that's experience right there. But when I'm first finally getting it, I don't know how to use it. You know, I go too overboard. I wind up arguing with my mom, you know, a little bit hardcore, and then I wind up the bad guy eventually. So, you know, this is all a result from just a horrible time in the past, and then growing up from that past, becoming what the past has made me into. So yeah, I think some people have, there's some people with low pride and some people with high pride. I think some people in this world, though, you know, they really let people push them around. I mean, it sucks. They let people just fuck with their heads, and then they wind up becoming a person who's stressed out. It really sucks, you know, how jobs are so fucking committed to their companies. Employees like waitresses and waiters, they have no pride at all. They gotta deal with customers, faggot-ass customers who come in madly and treat them like shit, like fucking slaves. I can't stand it. You know, I've literally seen many times where I would go out to eat and there was a guy that decided to, I don't know, be fucking, you know, a bitch to the waiter or the waitress, and just like try to like treat them like as if they control them, and it just pissed me off. I hate that shit. Like, you know damn well when you go to work you hate being there and you hate dealing with fucking customers. Why do you treat them like that then? Why do you do this to them? shit, they can't help it. Everybody has to get a job for money and shit. They can't, get a job for the job. Jobs are selfish as fuck. They care about money more than the actual people. So, they make the employees be so very fucking obedient, just to give the customers a so-called better lifestyle at this restaurant, which is fucked up because we're all customers and we're all workers. So what good is it? How can you call yourself serving people when you're not serving your workers, but you're serving the customers? In the end, the customers are workers too. So when they go to work, they don't get any servant. They get like nothing out of that. So in the end, and that's like sometimes the worst. What makes our day the worst anyways is going to work. I'd rather say, how about we please our workers? Let's balance things. Let's let everyone have some pride and balance, their strength. Let's say, okay, if a customer's being a bitch, fuck them. Fuck them. They're making life worse for us. Leave this fucking restaurant. Fuck you. We don't want your damn money. That's life to me, because if a worker can live and they don't have to take that bullshit, they can go home in peace because they didn't back down. They weren't being a bitch, but they held on to their person. They held on to who they were. They didn't let someone smash them into the ground. Even if you do know who you are at the end of the day, and some customer says, fuck you, you're an asshole, but you're not an asshole, still just hearing the words gives you a bad day. We have to admit it. It's not easy to just say, let's ignore it and let's pretend like it didn't happen. That's not easy. We're human beings. We're not robots. So we have feelings. They're there. The only difference is that when we're little kids, we cry. So people see those feelings. But when we're adults, they're still there. We're humans. We didn't lose anything. We gained a bit of strength, but those soft feelings will always be there. In the end, we know we fucking hate hearing shit like that. We know it hurts when someone talks trash. It does. Say it all you want that you ignore it, but when you mention it, at that point, you realize that you hated it. You didn't like it. If it didn't hurt, you would never acknowledge it. You wouldn't even know it existed, because it would never faze you. It would be easy to ignore. That's what ignoring is. Disregarding, I think that's the right word, or discard. Not realizing that shit is really coming at you. You may know that its presence is there, but you have no idea about its details or whatsoever. Now, how many people really can do that shit? Not many at all. You basically have to subtract your heart from a lot of things. You have to not care about anything. For example, it would be easy for me to be a celebrity and not care about the haters, well, if I didn't care about my celebrity status at all. I'd have to not really care about being a celebrity in the first place. So if I care about being a celebrity, there's something that brings me to that point about being a celebrity. Usually, I'd say the best reason to be a celebrity is to have fans. You want to be a celebrity because you want to be well known. Well, you wouldn't want to be well known in a bad manner. You want people to like you. What's the point of being well known if people hate you anyway? You might as well not want to be a celebrity, not want to be well known. Or at least be a popular person at that, So we all care about that judgment. Fat people, they know they care about the judgment. They're the main ones that want to lose weight, and there are many reasons to lose weight. Besides just being healthy, but you want people to see how good you look, right? That's why you always ask them, hey, did I lose weight? You want to show a transformation. That means you care about people's judgment. That means you do hate it when people say bad things about you. You want to lose weight, right? You want to look good. That means you don't want people to think that you look bad. Meaning you do care when people, give you bad comments on how you look. That means we do have those feelings. We all have them. We have those feelings. They're there. We don't like being put down. We don't like being treated like a bitch. That is so true. We are not here to just ignore it. We do have to kind of ignore it, but if it's happening all the time, if it's happening 24/7, and if it's so fucking bad, there's a problem here, and that problem needs to go away. It's not just about ignoring at this point. That problem needs to be eliminated. The problem is when we go places, a lot of times, and especially working situations, school too sometimes, we are forced by law or whatever, by company law, just for money or just for some other stupid reason, to shut up and have pride. I mean, to have none, hardly any pride. To basically not be ourselves. For the sake of a bunch of green fucking paper. So, maybe this conversation should have been about something else. Maybe being an employee, I guess. It's hard to kind of stay on topic with pride because there's so many, I guess, so many meanings of it.